Good morning. Good morning. My name is Barry Arendt. My pronouns are he and him. And what a morning it is. Welcome to worship in the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. Welcome to our members and guests here in the sanctuary, in our alternate worship space in the Bernstein Room, or those watching online. Our UUCC mission, challenged by our liberating faith, we discover deeper spiritual meaning, nurture loving community, cultivate courageous connections, and partner in the work of justice. And today we have the rare opportunity to create a new courageous connection. Following this service at 11:30, we will vote on whether to call Reverend Amanda Weatherspoon as our new settled minister. Reverend Amanda has been with us for the past 8 days here in Charlotte for candidating week, a time for us to get to know her as the candidate chosen by the Settled Minister Search Team. I'm honored to be a member of that team. Our decision was unanimous. When our Board of Trustees calls for the vote later on today, we urge you to vote yes. Under our bylaws, you must have been a member in good standing for at least the past 3 months to cast a ballot, but all are welcome here. And if you are interested in membership, I encourage you to reach out to our Director of Member Relations, Kelly Green, whose photo and email address are there on the screen. To be welcoming to all, yes? Okay. If we need a little more room, if some of you might scooch into the center to make room on the aisles for those who are coming in, because I think we have a pretty packed house. To be more welcoming to all, we have the large print orders of service, personal hearing assistance devices, and an elevator available. There is also a hearing loop in our alternate worship space downstairs. We have coloring pages and fidgets for all ages in the vestibule, if that is useful to you or your children. Wherever you are from, whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday among us, you are welcome. If you are filled with joy or broken in body or spirit, you are welcome. Gay, straight, married, partnered, single, divorced, or widowed, you are welcome. If you are linked or pierced or just here because you like the coffee in Freeman Hall, you are welcome. Vegans, vegetarians, junk food eaters, all are welcome. If you are or have been Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, pagan, humanist, or utterly confused, you are welcome. We are all spiritual seekers. Your presence helps make this a sacred space. Beating hearts are welcome here. This is the place for you. Now, as I invite you to take a deep breath, settle in as our service begins.
Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day,
morning. And welcome. Welcome to this place of lifelong learning. Welcome to this journey. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. I am Reverend Amanda Weatherspoon, your candidate for settled ministry, and it is a joy to be here. When I think of the week that we have had together, last week when I walked into this lively, vibrant sanctuary, I didn't know most of you, and now I can look at so many of you and the ways that we've connected and the ways that we've met. And I recognize some faces and I remember some names, and I call that a win in any book. We come into this place not to escape the world around us, not to leave everything outside of the doors, but to gather ourselves together, to make space for all that is our lives, for the fullness of who we are, the things in the world that break our hearts, the things in this world that open our hearts. So now in this time, made sacred and holy by each one of us, I welcome you to this time of worship. Come, let us worship together. And I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit. For our opening hymn, Morning Has Come. You can find us in your Till hymnal number 1000, and the lyrics are right behind us on the screen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Paula Gribble. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. Our chalice lighting this morning comes to us from Paul Bignell. There are some heights to which we have not risen and never will. There are some depths to which we have not fallen and never will, we pray. Somewhere between there are places where we can reach up and reach out for the strength we need for our journey. This is such a place. May our rising flames remind us to reach upward and outward.
children's choir come on down.
Now I have to follow that. Isn't it beautiful? Thank you, kids. Do you remember being smaller than you are now? Do you remember being younger than you are now? No matter how old you are now, at some point you were smaller and younger. When we're little, we can only imagine what it will be like to be older, to be bigger. We might even pretend sometimes that we are. Did you pretend, or maybe you still do, pretend that you can be or do something you're not yet able to? I used to pretend I was a teacher. And I wasn't quite sure yet how to make that happen or if I would. The little me could only dream on the edge of my imagination about who and what I could be. And then what I get to do here, what I can be now, is way beyond whatever I dreamed then. But I just knew I could reach for something beyond that dreaming edge. That reminds me of something else from when I was little. So I used to have this little red stool. And I kept it in my room, but I carried it everywhere in the house so that I could reach the things that I needed to. I would take it in the bathroom so I could reach the faucets. I would use it if there were high shelves I needed to reach. And I would use it to reach the kitchen sink so I could help to wash dishes. It became my way of reaching up and out beyond what I could do on my own. And it had this little saying on it. You may have seen these at some point, or maybe I'm just old. But it said, "This little stool is mine. I use it all the time to reach the things I couldn't and lots of things I shouldn't." Yeah, after I remembered that, I looked it up. They still have them. And I have those. It's a funny thing, though, about being small. You can see that some things are out of reach, and if you have a small stool, you can help get there. It can help you get there. But there are things still that even the little stool can't reach, and you try before you should, and the stool will topple over. But I knew if I waited and I dreamed of the things I could eventually reach and do, I would get there. And eventually, I didn't need a stool at all. Can you remember something like that? Well, now I have new dreams. Now I have new places that are just out of my reach, and there are new ladders and stools to help me reach them. Sometimes the things that help me are real ladders, and sometimes things that help me reach beyond my dreaming edges are people, are relationships, community. I bet you can think of people who have helped you. People from before who have helped us are sometimes called ancestors. And when we reach back, we can almost feel the hands of those who came before. And they are called our ancestors. They may have even lifted us up to a new place that we could see. And then there are others, people who help us reach forward. Reaching forward can be scary because it's past our dreaming edge, and we have to grab hands and objects we don't yet know. But if we wait, just like I did, I am sure we will get there as long as we keep dreaming. I wonder if you can do something with me to help us all remember these ideas. As you're willing and able, please stand. And if you are not able to, then just imagine these in your mind's eye. So first, let's lift our hands high and stretch and think of the things we're not yet able to reach. Now let's remember what came before and reach behind us. You can reach with your hands behind me, or you can turn in that direction, whatever's easier. But reach far, remembering when we were smaller and remembering those who came before us, our ancestors. And now let us reach out forward. Reach out to the people in front of you. Stretch and reach into your future. And one more, let's reach into ourselves. Feel that reaching into yourself, and remember we can always come back to ourselves. Let us remember our own strength and how we can help ourselves reach beyond our dreaming edge. And let us be thankful. I am thankful that you are all now a part of my future. And for being my newest little red stool to reach places I couldn't even imagine before. I hope I can join you in that. Is there something that you're thankful for too? Say it aloud. Those are beautiful things spoken into the room. And lastly, let's say thank you to those who help take us into a new future, those who may help us build new dreams. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, our children will leave the room to go to class. It is our Spirit Play children and our elementary children who are leaving now. I want to make sure that I say, because I sent an email that said we would do this at check-in, and there's no check-in because they're going now. At 11:15, all of the children will be in the Booker room, which is the elementary classroom across from the CYRE office, where they can either stay for childcare or you can pick them up there. Let us sing them out on their way. This morning is attributed to a Hopi elder. You have been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour, and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth, create your community, be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for the leader. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and so swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are torn apart, and they will suffer greatly. Know the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate." At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time for the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration, for we are the ones we've been waiting for. I now invite you to rise in body or spirit for our next hymn, Building a New Way, number 1015 in the Till hymnal. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 4, and back to 1. Rise in body or in spirit.
poet, activist, and author, Adrienne Marie Brown shares that there is an edge beyond which we cannot grasp the scale of our universe. That border, that outer boundary, she says, is imagination. The only known edge of existence, the only one we can prove by universal experience. We can imagine so much. We can only imagine so much. If perhaps it is a function of our collective minds, a dream of our endless nights, then there will be abundance so long as we can imagine it. Abundance on earth, if we can imagine it, or abundance of earths. A sphere for every tribe and every combination, and to have it all we need to remember is there is an edge, and to grow our dreams beyond it. Throughout this week, I'm sure that I've been asked and have answered hundreds of questions. Questions about me, about our collective faith, about my hopes and our dreams. Really good questions. Honestly, y'all are thorough. But there's one question that no one's asked, at least not directly. How did I find my way to Unitarian Universalist ministry? Or my call story? And perhaps it's because there's a good deal of biographical information about me floating around, but our lives are so much more than what we can put down on a website or in a packet, so allow me to take it old school and testify this morning. Before ministry, there was social work. But before social work, there was this intense academic study of psychology. And I was obsessed with all things psychology, all subjects, all fields. When I was in high school, I couldn't wait to get to college and truly dig into the wide and wonderful world of human development. But I almost didn't make it to college. In fact, I almost didn't make it to high school. I was what you might call a troubled teen. Now, as a kid, I was pretty wholesome. I loved school. I got lost in the world of books and stories. I was the kind of kid that when I got into the second grade, I was so excited to finally be assigned homework that when I accidentally left my textbook at school, I begged my mom to take me there at night, and I banged on the window until a janitor let me in. Like, I just had to do my homework. I felt so grown up to be trusted with homework. I played with friends in the neighborhood. I watched Saturday morning cartoons, all of it was wholesome. But somewhere along the way, around the 8th grade in particular, things inexplicably changed. I became suspicious of all authority. All grown-ups were the enemy. I rebelled against any and every rule, at home and at school. I only trusted my friends, and my friends were everything to me. And still, in order to fit in, I thought I needed to act out. I found that it wasn't actually that scary to get in trouble, so I got in trouble a lot. I was super disrespectful and mean-spirited, especially at school, especially to my teachers. And during the 8th grade, I had every single type of parent-teacher conference and intervention you can imagine, including a conference with both parents, every single teacher from every period class that I had, the principal, the vice principal, even my choir director and art teacher were there. And that happened several times throughout the year, every configuration of a parent-teacher conference. I was in school suspension more times than not, silent lunch nearly every day, and at a certain point, I had so much detention that it was a regular part of my daily schedule. And I had a teacher escort between each class, to each class, and a green sheet that had to be filled out by each and every teacher for my behavior and performance in class. And they were not out of line for this. When I tell you I was a troublemaker, believe me, I'm leaving a lot of things out of this story. I gave those teachers a lot of grief. I gave my parents even more, and I'm leaving a lot out, but I always liked my English class. I pretended I didn't like English lit, but that's where we got to talk about books and language and culture. So that spring, we were assigned to read the book, The Giver. Now, you might have read this book as well. This is where, in the world that's black and white, suddenly and gradually comes into color. And at the same time, this supposed utopian world starts to unravel and to reveal that not is all that it seems. And a facet of this book is that once each young person comes of age, they're given what is called a life assignment. It's issued by the powers that be. So for fun that year, our core teachers arranged this little life assignment giving ceremony. It was based on the book, where in this assembly, all the 8th graders would be given their life assignment issued from their teachers. It made sense, since we were all about to go into high school, and it was the end of the year, and it was a fun way to integrate and engage our learning. But as we're sitting in this assembly, I kept wondering what they would issue me. I fully expected them to skip over me altogether. These were teachers that I had given hell throughout the entire year, disrespected them in class, disrupted their learning environment, rejected any attempts to connect. At the end of all this, how could they see anything of worth in me? Now, I'm always at the end of anything alphabetical with a name like Weatherspoon, so at last it was my turn. Now, I was surprised to hear my name when they called me up. And I was even more surprised when they handed me a certificate that read Life Sciences, Psychology and Sociology. And I was stunned. I didn't even know what that really meant at that age. Certainly I didn't know what those subjects were really about or what professions they were tied to. So later I asked my mom what these things meant, what one could really do with all of this, if it were something that I could do, and she laid it out plainly. I'd have to do well in school, because there's a lot of that in those professions, and then to do these things professionally, I'd have to be in school well into adulthood, and I was fascinated, I was captivated, something clicked for me, and from that moment, my entire life turned around. My world shifted, my focus sharpened, and my world came into color. Now I had to face the consequences of a year's worth of my antics, please believe me. For example, I wasn't allowed to go into public high school for a year, so my parents put me into a private Christian school, Assemblies of God, nonetheless. It was interesting. Creationism in school is awesome. But I made it through. After a year, I was allowed to go back into high school with my friends and my peers, and although I was advised to just take my time and take the full 4 years to get through high school, I was stubborn, and I just had to graduate with my intended class with my friends, so I hustled, and I got through high school in just the 3 years, and I walked the stage with my diploma with the folks that I went to kindergarten with, and some 4 or so years later, I received my bachelor's for psychology with a minor in sociology. See, those teachers that I thought hated me, those teachers who dealt with my bad attitude and my youthful arrogance, those teachers saw beyond my facade, beyond my mask. They helped me imagine a different future for myself. They helped me grow my imagination beyond the edges of what I thought I knew about myself. They saw something in me that I could not conjure alone, that I could not believe in. And I know for a fact that I would not be here before you today without their radical imagination. And their imagination not only for my life, but for the lives of countless students over the decades. And if any of you are teachers or work with young folks shaping their lives and minds, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You save lives. Many years later, I ran into one of those teachers at a UU church nonetheless. She was my science teacher, so of course she was a UU. And I told her that I had gotten my degree in psychology, and I thanked her. And then I apologized for being so mean and disrespectful and horrible. And she shrugged her shoulders and said, you weren't horrible, you were 14. That, my friends, is grace. We can imagine so much. We can only imagine so much. When I think about my call to ministry, that's actually the first thing that comes to mind. Not high-minded ideas of Unitarian Universalism or lofty ministerial goals. I think of that rebellious, strong-willed teenager who didn't believe in herself, not even a little bit, who was unable to grow her imagination beyond those edges, whose teachers saw something in her she couldn't see for herself, unearthing a path, and her decision to travel that path with no idea where it would lead. That trust in a guiding light with that promise that you are enough, that I was worthy. Now, it'd be many more years before I stepped into my first UU church. It'd be even more years before I followed a call into ministry. But I believe that when I was sitting in that auditorium beside my best friend, shame spreading through my whole being, expecting to be skipped over, but hearing my name nonetheless, that was my call. That was where I began to embrace the reality of who I was and who I was becoming, because I was not a well-behaved young lady. And I definitely wasn't anything like minister material. I was not a model student. I didn't take myself seriously at all. And yet, I still had a purpose. There was still a path, a road less traveled, and travel it I did. And here we are. And here's another road stretching ahead of us. Because you are all called to. Each of you and all of you, you're called into something. Something created by each of us, and yet bigger than any of us could imagine alone. And a faith community is as good a place as any to enact that purpose and that calling into our lives and into this world, because now is the time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And as Howard Thurman puts it, what the world needs now is for us to come alive. We are called to come to life. Those teachers brought me back to life, reminding me who I was, reminding me that I loved learning and knowledge and fun, that I loved people, that I valued deep connections and truth and realness, and they put me on a path of discovery, a path to uncover new layer upon layer of who I am, and I will go to my grave grateful for their dedication. Now, I can answer any and every question you throw my way, but I tell you and I tell you now, it can't only be me. I alone cannot take this community anywhere it does not want to go. I am not the solution. I am not the unicorn. I am not the answer. I am only a part of the question, the eternal question of who we are and who we are becoming. And of course I will lead, and of course I will follow, and I will learn, and I will grow right alongside you. And together we can stretch our imagination beyond those edges of what we know, because that is the birthplace of my call and this journey. And I'm all right with that this morning. So now I have some questions for you. First of all, what makes this place come alive? More specifically, how do each of you breathe life into this place? This place that is beyond walls, that is beyond meetings, that is beyond what we think it has to be. What makes it come alive? And also, what's yearning for life here? What is reaching out and budding in this season of transformation? Also, what keeps you coming? What is your journey? And of course, what is your call, your particular call, that gift that is yearning within you? So to sum it up, why are you here? When you could be anywhere else, doing anything else with your time, why do you devote yourself and your creativity and your heart to this place and to these people around you? What are your edges? And how can we grow beyond those together? And here's what I've observed. This is a congregation bursting at the seams with love and welcoming and creativity and passion. This is a place that holds a rich history and that represents to its very core our living tradition. This is a place and a people of grit and integrity, good old Southern hospitality. So much food has been thrown my way. And this is a congregation that's ready to open a new chapter and to continue the same journey with a renewed sense of purpose and a clarity of its own call within and beyond this community. So here we are, imperfect people, facing a call on many fronts, pulling from our own histories and stories and asking the good questions and doing what we can to honor our deepest truths. And the choice belongs to us all. And no matter what happens, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that this week has been one of the most special and heart-opening weeks of my ministerial career. I have felt cared for. I have felt affirmed and challenged and welcomed. I have felt welcomed as my full self, and that is priceless in this world. And I could not have imagined the heart of this place, the heart in this place, until I saw it for myself. And it is here. And it is here because of each of you. So in all the words I've said this week, in all my verbosity, I don't know if that's a word, but it sounds like one to me. There are only 2 words left. Thank you. From the bottom of my soul, thank you. Blessed be.
or she, her. While doing the service planning, Reverend Amanda referenced the poem she shared earlier, and several of the lines resonated with me, especially the line, "Do not look outside of yourself for a leader," and multiple lines about community and the implication of showing up for your community. It reminded me of an incident that was extremely humbling and had a significant impact on how I moved in community. Years ago, I was at a picnic with local activists, and one was trying to convince me to speak in front of city officials about actions that needed attention. As you can tell, I am not a great public speaker, so I was trying to get out of it. She told me that she was tired of being seen as the crazy one always speaking at these meetings. Right when we were having this discussion, Bree Newsome and Jimmy Tyson showed up. For those that don't recognize these names, they are the two that took down the Confederate flag in South Carolina. This was just days after they had taken down the Confederate flag, and they were being followed by law enforcement and receiving death threats. It hit me how ridiculous and selfish I sounded. I didn't want to speak up for a cause because I was worried about embarrassing myself, while meanwhile, people in my community were literally risking their lives for what they believed in and for progress. I agreed to speak and even spoke several other times and then at subsequent press conferences. The lesson I learned was that if this was my community, and I have an obligation to carry some of the load when I can, and stepping up doesn't have to look perfect to actually have an impact. The moment that hit, I felt free. Thank you.
I have a few questions for you. What does it mean to give to the UUCC? Why do you give? Why do I give? I give out of gratitude, out of hope, out of love. I give to say yes to the values of this faith, yes to the value of this community, to me, to you, to your children, to your children's children. Yes to our mission, and yes to its value to our larger community. And today I give to say yes to the future of ministry in this community. As a search team member, when I had just met our potential settled ministers, I said yes by increasing my pledge, believing that our ministry would be in good hands, whoever it was, from that amazing group of ministers. We are grateful to all members who pledge their financial support and make regular contributions to sustain the work of our congregation. While the offering is collected, you are invited to come forward and light a candle, honoring a milestone, concern, or celebration.
Let us be present to the spirit of life, which is in us and through us and around us, to those human connections that give us strength when we struggle and celebrate when we are joyful. This gathered community hears and holds both difficulty and ease as we honor the experiences that make each of us who we are. Our thoughts are with all who are feeling unsafe or uncertain. May we treat one another with kindness and compassion and continue to work for everyone's freedom, safety, and security. Let us honor all the concerns today and all those that remain in our hearts.
I now invite you into a time and a space of presence, of groundedness and of connection, rooting deeply where you are. Perhaps lower your gaze or even closing your eyes for this time of contemplation and meditation and this time of prayer. Spirit of life and spirit of love, we welcome into this place that great spirit which connects us all, that connects us between time and place, beyond history to this moment and even into the future. I lift up my heart of thanks and gratitude for the people of this community, for the spirit of welcome that is alive in this place, for the tenacity and that heart that just keeps going. We lift up those who can't be with us here in this time, those who have labored decades before this moment to build this community, brick by brick and heart by heart. We call forth their presence, their spirit, and their guidance. And we lift our hearts for those yet to come. Those who are just now beginning their lives, those who have not wound their way to this place, those who are still coming to be among this number. We gather our strength in this moment for what is to come. And with gratitude upon gratitude for what already is. The spirit of life that we call forth is truly the spirit of our lives, wound and bound together. And that is what we center, and that is what I lift this morning. For all that was, for all that will ever be, and for what is now, we give thanks. Ashe, amen, and blessed be.
As our candidating week comes to a close, the minister search team and the board of trustees want to thank Reverend Amanda for being our candidate for settled minister. The search team has been in touch with her since January, and she has put in untold hours preparing for interviews, traveling twice to Charlotte, staying in hotel rooms, meeting hundreds of people, learning names she is bound to forget, sampling all kinds of potluck dishes, answering tons of questions, as she said, and even displaying her musical talent, which was not a requirement for the job. And she has done it with pastoral presence, intellect, grace, patience, good humor, compassion, enthusiasm, and authenticity. Reverend Amanda, it's been a delight and an honor to get to know you, and on behalf of the search team, I hope that the membership will agree to ask you to come back soon, like real soon after 11:30. To accept our call to ministry. In you, we see opportunity, opportunity for a ministry of hope and determination and common purpose, a ministry of repair and renewal for this Unitarian Universalist community. Thank you. Thank you. Amen and blessed be. Well, you're next. Members of the search team, if you'd like to join us.
I now invite you to rise in body or spirit for our closing song. That's right. Siyahamba, the words, the lyrics will be on the screen behind us or in your till hymnal, 10:30. By your soul and join us in our closing words, and unison should be on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. You may be seated.
Am I? Hello. Thank you.
Inside that wants to be set free.